Hey everyone, how's it going? Meister here, and welcome back to Gasparilla County, Florida. We're here again in St. Patricksburg, where I'll be continuing to expand on the city in an effort to turn things around budget-wise. I really want to balance the budget and hopefully turn a profit here pretty soon, because I am losing a ton of money. And that is not an ideal situation to be in, especially when you only have 40 million in the bank. So things might get a little tight here in the foreseeable future unless we take action quickly. But I'm kind of in a catch-22 situation right now, because already all of my services are crumbling. They're just not able to keep up with the demand. Of course, with this rapid expansion here that has happened in the city, my little tiny small clinics and high schools and whatever are just not able to keep up. So we're gonna have to do something about that before we expand the city even further. But there's another more pressing issue that we have to address, and that is garbage is piling up at a number of locations across the map. So I'm going to be forced to build a landfill or some sort of something to deal with the garbage piling up. And I think I'm just going to opt for a landfill because it seems to be, I'm pretty sure it is the cheapest way to go right now as we ramp up the city. So my goal, I think what I'm gonna do is build a landfill somewhere kind of in the middle of nowhere over here, but I'm gonna have to build some infrastructure to support this, starting with some roads. So this is US 41, so this is kind of our main street on this map, and I am going to continue this road along sort of the middle of the map. So basically, I'm just gonna have US 41 come straight through this entire area. And then it's going to intersect with I-275, I think this is? Yeah, I-275, which leads into St. Patricksburg. Then I think what I'll do here, I'll have this road make a slight turn. Oops. And in true Florida fashion, the roads are very straight with, you know, very few curves. And then now is I-75, which follows the west coast of Florida, in which US 41 will intersect. So then we'll have this road continuing on straight through here. Off to the other side of the map. So now we have two interchanges to build, so we're going to start by doing this. May as well. And in Florida, there's one thing that is usually pretty apparent as far as interchanges go. And that is, whichever road was there first ends up being the at-grade road. I mean, I'm sure this is the case for pretty much anywhere in the world. But for whatever reason, I just kind of... It was more apparent in my visits to Florida. It just seems like these national roads, I mean, of course, would have been there first. And it's always the highways that go over these roads. And also, I think the topography makes it that way too. You know, it's much easier to build over an existing road than under it, especially when you have such a flat land like Florida, where the water table is really, really shallow. So that's one thing I noticed. Pretty much every single highway in Florida goes over whatever road it's intersecting with. So yeah, here I am going to raise the terrain to, I guess, an acceptable amount. I suppose this looks okay. Maybe at about this height, maybe a bit lower. Because I am playing with all kinds of mods, and we don't necessarily have to abide by the 10-meter minimum bridge height rule. So I'm just gonna start by flattening all of this land. Actually, maybe not that much here. I'm gonna reduce it to here. And then I'm going to use my slope terrain tool. Uh-oh, this is not ideal. I might just have to do a 1x1 here. I can't use the parallel tool. Oh, actually, one more thing. I am just going to flatten. Let me increase this to maybe 60 meters, 70 meters maybe even 80. And I just want to flatten in between here, because I don't want this bridge to necessarily be right up against the highway on either side. And there we go. So now we can create these beautiful smooth overpasses. And this makes for a rather unique overpass because it's kind of on an angle. And then can we fit a pillar in between here? Is it gonna fit? Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, maybe not on this side. Oh yeah, look at that. Perfect, guys. And it looks like our overpass is at a pretty good height. So we conveniently have a transport truck here that seems to be floating a couple of meters in the air. But honestly, I think this height for a bridge looks very realistic. So we're gonna go with that. And I am going to go ahead here and remove all of these trees in the vicinity, because we're going to build a big old interchange here. All right. So I think I'm just going to keep things relatively simple for this interchange. I'm going to build a classic diamond interchange, just like we often see in Florida. But I have something up my sleeve for the next interchange that's about to come up, which should be pretty exciting. Create merge lanes on either side. And for the off ramps, I'm just going to go ahead and build these 2-lane exits like this. Maybe I made my curve a little too steep. Maybe if I start it over here instead. I think it's just because the slope is a little too close. Maybe if I do this and then reduce this to a 3-laner. All right, and now what I want to do for the on-ramps is a little different. So instead of having a 2-laner the entire way, we'll do a 2-laner to about here, and then this will merge into a 1-laner, which will connect to our highway just like this. And then what am I gonna do over here? I think what I'll do is I don't know, maybe I'll just keep it simple. But actually maybe I'll add a turning lane just like this, and then I'll reduce this down to 1 lane, and then what I'll do here is make sort of slit lane just like this. So that'll ensure that things just flow a little bit better. And plus, it looks really, really cool. So now we've got one side complete. I'm going to try to create the same thing as symmetrical as I possibly can on the other side. But I think this is going to be a lot harder than I imagine. Okay, so I'm going to space things out a little more. Make this off-ramp begin a bit farther out, just so we don't have to deal with weird terrain artifacts. And oh boys, okay, I think I'm kind of in a pickle here. I don't know how I'm gonna make this left turn lane, because this has to interact with this new third lane that comes up through here. How is this going to work? Now, this right lane is pretty easy. See, this is not a problem. I just have to do this and then prevent left turns on this exit. No, that's terrible. I think what I might have to do, guys, if these two roads were more spaced out, it would have been easy. But they're just so close to each other. I might be SOL here. Maybe I just won't be able to do these left turn lanes, or not even left turn lanes, but these merge lanes here. Let's just get rid of them. It's kind of a shame because they are really useful. Let's see here. Yeah, because now traffic here has to slow down to turn left, and you know, if there's a lot of traffic here, that's going to cause a lot of problems. Okay, well, okay, I know what I'm going to do, guys. I'm just going to skip ahead. I'm going to space these two roads out a bit farther apart, and I think it's going to make things a little easier on me. So I'll check in with you once that's done. And I'm back after a couple of minutes, so after a few minor adjustments here, I think we're all set to go. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to create my left turn lane. I'm going to connect it up over here, so that's going to create a nice smooth turn. And then we'll have my other left turn lane on this side. And then what I think I'm going to do here is, this is going to be a sort of, I guess, weaving lane. So we'll have traffic coming off the highway as well as traffic coming onto the highway wanting to turn left over here. So not 100% safe, but when have Floridian roads always prioritize safety, right? Oh, seem to be dealing with a little bit of artifacting here. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna be able to fix this. Sometimes it just is what it is. Yeah, I think that's just gonna be what it is. But anyways, not a huge deal. So now we're gonna have a 3-lane here in both directions. Now let's work on to the very final part of this interchange, which is the on-ramps. And then, much like the other side of the highway, I'm going to try to create a pretty symmetrical on-ramp here. Now this is going to merge into a 1-laner. Which lane merges in? Oh crap, so it's the left lane that merges into the right. And I kind of did the opposite over here, so let me delete that. Let's start again. And then we'll line things up so the left lane has to merge into the right. And then everything will merge together all nice and smoothly over here. Look at that. It's beautiful. And yep, let's do a simple slip lane just like this, and then a left turn lane that comes straight, oops, here, just like this, and just like that, and then 3 lanes. Okay, we have a problem here. I'm just gonna delete this slip lane. Okay, this is weird. If I convert this back into a 2-lane, I think what I'll have to do is create a new node, probably about here. Actually, I'm going to create 2. Build one here. Convert this. Oh! No, I think we're just too close. 2 intersections are just too close. Maybe if I do it over here. There, that does not interfere with it, so it'll just make for my little on-ramp here. It'll have to be a bit longer. Oh, what's going on here? Why is this converting into a bridge? Oh my god, we're having trouble here. Oh, there, okay. And I think I'll just convert this into a 3-lane for just a bit farther. Or a lot farther, whatever, it doesn't really matter. And woof, there we go, guys. There is our not so simple diamond interchange. Oh my god, that was a lot of work. Okay, well, now that that's over with, let's move on. Actually, before I do that, I just want to smooth things out. I like for everything to be all nice and smooth. I want my interchanges to be nice, you know? But I won't spend any time decorating it just yet because I gotta move on here and take care of the underlying issues that the city is facing. So from this road, from US 41, I'm going to build a small street that is gonna come out in this direction, and then we'll have it I guess kind of weave a little bit through the wilderness. And then over here will be our landfill. So as you can see, it's quite far in the middle of nowhere, so I don't think pollution will really be an issue. Actually, let's just check the wind speeds, or the wind directions rather. Air pollution. Oh, fantastic. The nice juicy smell of rotten produce and compost is going to head right towards the city. That is perfect. Okay, well, maybe I'll have to build this a little farther out. All right then, so let's just have this road continue straight along here, and then maybe I'll make it do a sharp turn, and then we'll go off into this direction, and by this point, you know, we're kind of in the middle of nowhere. I think, you know, the stench shouldn't be drifting too far. Now the only problem is this is quite a long road for these garbage vehicles to drive, especially if they're going to be picking up garbage over in this region. So I might want to do a second connection here somewhere, but I didn't really plan things too far out. So maybe what I'll do is just, I'll have a small road coming out from here. And I'm gonna have just a simple overpass going over the highway. Just like this. So then this road will make its way over to the landfill. So this will act as a sort of shortcut there for vehicles that may want to go to the actual town of Gasparilla. So there we go. Let's transform this into a really nice, simple overpass. Nothing too complicated. So I'm going to raise the terrain probably to about there. I think that's a good height. Now let's do the same thing over on this side. And then we will use our handy dandy slope terrain tool to smooth things over just like this. There we go. Awesome. Now that is one beautiful overpass if I've ever seen one. Can transport trucks fit under it? Yep. Perfect. I think it's even a little too high, so maybe I'll just lower it just a tad. Let's just see if transport trucks can comfortably fit under it. Yep, that is awesome. Perfect. And by using move it, there's trees in the roads now. There, let's just clean these up. There we go. All right, now let's finally get into it after all of that work. So we are going to build a landfill over here in the middle of nowhere. So let's take a clear look here at our finances just to make sure that we're not spending too much money. So this landfill is going to cost $15,000 a month in upkeep, and I guess it has a decent processing capacity, but we'll see if it's able to process all of the city's garbage so far. So I'm gonna make this a decent size. We'll start off with this. And we'll see if that solves our garbage problems. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about this interchange. Okay, well, I've already built a pretty complex interchange here, and what I had in mind was a bit more complex here, so I might actually like feature an entire episode on this interchange. This interchange is not 100% necessary right now because the garbage can perfectly get to its destination from here with what we have so far. Oh, it looks like we're gonna have to connect this to water and electricity, so let's do that. Do I have anything running anywhere near? Oh, actually power's good. Power's okay. It's just water that we need to get here. Is it not connecting? Oh, okay. Here, so let's turn on anarchy. And then we'll do a little something like this. And I think that should sort us out. Yeah, look at that. Boom, as simple as that. So now our landfill is 100% operational. So hopefully by the end of this episode, all of these garbage icons will be gone. And that means that we can actually get started on the actual topic of this episode. All right, so what I want to get into is I want to take care of some of my residential demand. Okay, and as you can see, my low density demand is dropping, and then it's slowly climbing, and it's dropping again. The reason for that, I believe, is a lot of people are moving in to this area. So for the longest time, a lot of this area was completely empty of any residents. So I was having a ton of houses building up, but no residences were moving in, and actually a lot of these homes were falling into disrepair over time. So what I think is happening is finally these homes are becoming occupied, which is using up a little bit of my demand. So for the time being, we're gonna let that neighborhood, which does not have a name yet, develop naturally. And for the time being, we'll focus on medium and high density residential. But I can't get ahead of myself just yet. I need to take care of all of my services because I can't get more people into the city if they're just going to be not well taken care of. So let's start with healthcare. Now, the big issue now... Oh. Yes, Jose, you may interrupt. Okay, so now let's get started on the next big issue, which is my services not keeping up. And oh my God, look at this. 30 out of 25 patients. This little clinic is just overflowing. Now, to address this, I'm going to have to at least go with a normal medical clinic. I'm not going to be able to afford a hospital right now. And unfortunately, there is no upgrades to do to this small medical clinic. So I'm just going to go for a normal medical clinic. And I am going to plop it. You know what? Why not along this main road here? It's pretty central to the entire city. And this is probably going to remain our main hospital for a long time to come. So now we have capacity of 100 patients. I think I'm just going to remove this hospital altogether. I don't know if I should do so right now, because what's going to happen to these patients? I assume they're just going to get transferred over to another hospital, so I think I'm okay. So by deleting that small medical clinic, I'm going to be saving a ton of money, because this medical clinic is not terribly more expensive. So now let's move on to our education system. So my small high school here is already at capacity at 400 patients. Students. Luckily, we have some extension wings that we can plop alongside this building. So I think maybe I'll do one, I guess right here. So that's going to give us an extra 100 student capacity. And you know what? With this being Florida, I'm going to add some additional parking here in the back. Look at that, 2 parking lots that people can use for the surrounding areas. I'm not going to charge for parking for these parking lots. I probably should, but in the name of realism, I'm not going to. Am I charging anything for these ones over here? Yeah, let's remove parking charges over here. So, you know, it's not the best idea, I guess, when we're kind of in an economic situation, but I think we're going to be out of it relatively soon. Now, small elementary school, same thing. I'm at capacity here, 400 students. So let's add some extension wings. I guess I'll do 2 of them, because you and I both know that this is quickly going to fill up. And you know what? I think for the high school, I may want to even add a second extension wing too. I guess I'll add this on the other side of the street, you know, just to make it look a little different. There we go. So that should set us up for the next little while. And now let's get into expanding the city. So right now I have 0 low density residential demand. I have some medium and high density. So I'm going to work on downtown. Maybe let's just choose a couple of blocks here. I guess right here would be a good contender to get started with. So what I'll do here is just build a collection of mixed zoning, and then maybe just a couple of smaller apartment buildings dotted throughout the area. And I mean, I'm sure by just plopping this one block here, it's probably going to get rid of a lot of my demand. And so what I should also be doing is plopping some low rent housing as well. So that's going to help my residents get started, you know, get all situated and in this nice affordable living space. When you're starting off a city, it's usually a good idea to put some low rent housing, you know, because not everybody is going to be super rich when they first move in. So it's always a good idea. And look at this. I'm actually, even by placing all of this low rent housing, oh, okay, there it goes. Now it's finally lowering my demand. And then I also have a little bit of office demand as well, and offices are really huge money makers, so I am going to dot the outskirts of downtown with a number of smaller office buildings. Now, I really don't want there to be any massive skyscrapers farther out of the downtown area. I really want to zone conservatively here and just build some really small skyscrapers, because I don't want this downtown to look like New York. I want it to be relatively similar to St. Petersburg, and already it's magnitudes bigger than St. Pete. It's probably even, this downtown is probably similar to like Tampa's downtown size, just, you know, by looking at the generic skyline. But anyways, so I got a plot of land here that is not going to work. So I think in true Floridian fashion, we're going to plop a big old parking lot here. That's a little too big. A modest parking lot. That still is too big. Okay, well, yeah, this is way too big. Actually, I think if I maybe if I build just a little side street going in behind here. Hopefully that doesn't destroy anything. Oh, of course it did. But now I should be able to put a parking lot. And I think the modest parking lot should fit quite nicely in the back here. So let's do that. And then this zone here, I guess we'll just, let's do some more mixed zoning. I don't know if that's going to build. I have no demand at the moment. Actually, maybe let's do some high density. Let's see what comes out of this. There we go. All right. So I still have a lot of high density residential demand. So what I think I'm going to do here is maybe go into the outskirts of the city and start plopping away at some little apartment buildings here and there. I don't want to do anything too dramatic just yet. But if I just dot this area with some more housing, there we go. I think that should do it. And oh my god, my office demand's not really going down. And oh my god, even with all these new buildings that I'm sprawling up, my office demand's not really going down that much. So what I think I'll do here is build some low density office buildings here and there. You know, because Floridian cities are pretty flat around their downtown cores. So it makes sense for there to be some pretty big office buildings. Oh, okay, it looks like it disappeared. And I'm left with only some industrial demand, so I'm kind of surprised right now that I have like no demand. So I think we're gonna have to start concentrating on various attractions and interesting things that will, you know, coax people into moving into town. Because right now we're barely keeping afloat. We haven't really improved our economic situation that much, but I'm still hovering at just over $40 million. It's gonna be a challenge, guys. We're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do in this situation. Perhaps we can take a look at some signature buildings that we may be able to place near downtown. You know, some of these buildings have some pretty decent gains and perks. So maybe this Incasarium. This is a pretty cool building. I really like it. And it would be cool if we could fit this somewhere in downtown. It seems that it would fit perfectly within this block. Or, ooh, maybe over here near this highway. Because this building does have quite an odd shape. You know, see what it looks like near this highway. And that actually looks really cool. Look at that. You know, the landscaping kind of blends into the highway. We have like this nice curve here. That's pretty cool, guys. I like that. And then what I'll do in the front of the building here is I am going to plop, maybe, can I do a medium parking lot? I reckon I could. Oh yeah, that is wonderful. Look at that. And why not spend a minute or two just detailing this area? Oops. Here, I'm gonna use Anarchy, and I'm just gonna build my path right up to the building. Just to blend things in a little bit, and I'm not sure if it's gonna be too happy about me removing Anarchy, so I guess I'll just leave it. And we'll do this. there, and then maybe I'll put down a couple of palm trees. Let's go with some really tall palm trees here that will come up above the highway. And of course, we'll have to put some Florida palms. There. I think that looks pretty decent, guys. What do you think? So let's just take another look here at what this building offers. So +1 office efficiency citywide, +5 interest in university, +1 university graduation chance, and +5 well-being within 1.5 kilometers. And I think it's going to give a little bit of a boost to this local community. And uh-oh, we're dealing with a little bit of a sick wave here. How is our hospital system holding up? We have 17 out of 100 patients right now. We're still doing all right. So we'll just leave this be for now. Let's go take a look over here in Gasparilla to see what the situation is. We haven't been here in quite a while. Still dealing with some garbage piling up. So I'll give that another little while, and hopefully those icons are going to disappear. A lot of businesses seem to be struggling in town over here. And I think this is just a matter of population. You know, this city is really low density. So in a lot of places, it's not really ideal for a lot of these businesses. No car access. Oh. Okay, maybe I'll just get rid of this zone there. But I guess, yeah, overall the city's not doing terribly. But we still have some work to do, guys. We still have to get some more people to move in. Look at that, we're getting a little bit more demand coming in. We finally have some buildings that are sprawling up here. Maybe we'll fill in this block with some more medium density housing, some apartments, as well as mixed zoning. Well, of course, that's going to render this lot useless. So maybe what I can do is supplement this with a little park. Can we get a nice little park to squeeze in here, maybe? I guess I could. Get rid of this zoning. That's going to rebuild. And let's do some more parking. And I guess this is one of the rare cases where this small parking lot would look nice because it's all walled in, which makes sense for a downtown core. Actually, I think I'm going to put it right here. So yeah, this would make sense for your typical paid parking lot. And I think I'm actually going to increase the parking fees to like 12 bucks. Is it 12 bucks a day? 12 bucks an hour? I don't know. Anyways. So now let's do some more mixed zoning. And then this building here looks quite official. I think what I'll do is I'm gonna build a road that goes in behind here. I'm afraid this might make a mess though. Let's try it anyways. Oh, okay, thankfully it doesn't seem to affect these row houses. Which honestly I should build more of. Here, maybe I'll do a thing of row houses here and then a big old mixed housing building here. That is wonderful, guys. Now what do I do about this little space here? Maybe I'll just shove a tree in here. It's kind of bothering me. Let's do maybe a palm tree, and then actually maybe a big old oak tree. No, that's a little overkill. There, let's do that. Alright guys, well, this episode has taken a completely different turn than I thought it was going to. My intentions were to fill up this entire area with low density residential. Well, maybe not the entire area, but I was like gonna get started on it. But unfortunately we were dealing with a ton of other issues. You know, I just don't have the demand right now, and you know, like I had to build this interchange, get a landfill going, so I'm just not gonna have the time to get into that. But what I am gonna do instead is at least build all of the essential services to get a city running, and I think by placing all of these services down, it's going to entice more people to move in. So I want to get started on a basic postal service in the city. Now I think I'm just gonna maybe start off with a small post office, and I'm gonna dot a couple of them around the city. But I'm gonna start off over here in downtown near this highway interchange. So this is gonna make for some reasonably easy in and out access for mail delivery. So let's start off with this. And then rather than just having only the post office, I'm gonna do my usual setup and dot a whole bunch of mailboxes throughout the city. And this just makes your postal service a tad more efficient, because now rather than having a ton of vehicles converging to your post office to collect their mail, your postal service will then drive out and deposit parcels and mail at their the nearest mailboxes. So there we go. We're gonna start off with this little post office here, and we'll see once it starts to cap out here, we'll upgrade to a bigger one. Actually, we have some upgrades for this. Extended storage helps store more mail. Okay. So there we have it. Our postal service is taken care of. Now let's get into our telecom service. So let's get some 5G coverage in here. I could do a couple of small radio masts, or I could do a big old tower somewhere in town, and this is pretty much going to cover a huge portion of the map. Can I afford it? $12,500 a month. How are we doing? I'm under $40 million in the bank now, but I'm losing just about $600,000 a month. So we're in a little bit of better shape than we were at the start of this episode. And oh my god, guys, what happened to my demand? Okay, well, it looks like we're gonna get started next episode in expanding the city, it looks like. So anyways, let's end things off here by plopping, I guess, a big old telecom tower. This will set us up for the future, and it's not terribly expensive. It's just pretty massive. I think it's a little too big, to be honest. Now I could theoretically plop it somewhere over here in the southern part of the map, because coverage is like way good. And by doing that, I would lose a little bit less coverage. Yeah, I guess I could do that. I think I'm just gonna build out a road from here. And this quite possibly could be a very temporary solution, guys. I'm kind of just gonna build something here. Here, let's plop our tower over in this region, and that is going to cover all of St. Patricksburg and its surrounding areas. Even the landfill is going to have full 5G coverage. That's amazing. So yeah, I just didn't really want to have this tower in downtown, because the tower itself is almost as tall as the tallest buildings in town, so kind of wanted to avoid that. But yeah, there we go, guys. Oh, is this zone not non-operational? It looks like it is. Maybe... Oh, I just got a really cool idea. Can I do a passage park here? Oh, no, it's not going to fit. It was too good to be true. Multi-purpose park? Nope, that's also too big. I was thinking I could have fit a park here, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the case. What I'm going to have to do instead is I'm going to have to build a road in behind this building with the hopes that it's not going to destroy it. Nope, it looks all good. And look at that. We immediately have some new buildings that are going to spawn up. So awesome. Yeah, that empty space was kind of bothering me. anyways, guys, I think that is going to do it for this episode. Next episode, like I said, now that we have a ton of demand, I'm going to start to expand in the outskirts of downtown, but I would also like to focus on downtown itself, kind of in between all of these highways here, maybe get down to the nitty gritty of things, because I'm noticing, you know, we got some empty space here that I would like to build a nice park on, empty lots here and there that I would like to do something with, but that will just have to come later. So guys, I really do appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed this video in particular, make sure you leave a thumbs up. And also make sure you leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. I'm always curious to see what you guys have to say. And certainly don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified of future uploads. That is it for me, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care, guys.